You look at me, I'm talking into the microphone, and you're looking at little lines that go up and down. And that tells you how loud I am when I get excited, or when I don't get excited and I just speak in a normal voice, or when I speak back here because I went to reach for something. Either way.
Welcome back to another off-the-cuff episode of the Gentleman Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Kyle Rutka, and with me, live and in person, this week, Robert Rushlow.
Yeah, hanging out in Kyle's new basement in his new house. It's great stuff.
Oh, yeah. We have house stories coming up later.
Yeah.
But for now, I tried making a joke about having a million breaking news drops last week when we did this, but not actually have any real news. Well, we actually have real news. We have breaking news. There was a stat correction.
Unofficially, by the way.
Let's walk me through the stat correction, Bob, because I was part of it, and I just want to hear your take.
Well, from the outside looking in, it was really wild because at first it looked like I was watching Stat Tracker. For some reason, I was watching everybody's because I have no life and I really like fantasy football. And there was this massive correction during, I don't know, was it like the Monday night game or something where there was like a 6-point swing all of a sudden?
Correct.
And then, whatever.
Steve had Le'Veon Bell playing, and I had Pat Mahomes. No, I wish I had Pat Mahomes. I had Baker Mayfield. And there was a point in the third. The Browns were up 23-3 over the Jets. And there was a point late in the fourth quarter that somehow Steve went up like 194 or 94 95 to, I think it was like 91 something.
Yeah.
And then Bell had a fumble, and they gave the ball back to the Browns, and the Browns were marching down the field, and for some reason, up 23-3 with like a minute 10 left, Baker Mayfield actually dropped back to pass the ball and got sacked. And at that time, I lost points, but for some reason, Stat Tracker made Steve lose points.
Right.
And he lost points he went down 91.9, and I went down to 90.9. I think that's how it went. I don't remember.
Yeah. So anyways,
either way,
end of the
it
week,
was a 1 point difference.
Yeah. So end of the week, it turns out Steve beats you by literally 1/10 of a point.
1/10 of a point.
And I immediately started the text. I did this little 3-way text between us with the screenshot of the score, and
It was a 3-way.
I literally asked, how are you going to make him buy you fish after you just bored his ass out like that with that 1/10 of a point win? So, we talk about it. There's jokes. There's, all kinds of jubilant fun talking about it. And all of a sudden Thursday, it changes. Now it's a tie, and Kyle wins on bench points. And none of us can explain it. Nothing's posted to ESPN. There was apparently a 1-yard stat correction to what was it?
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's rushing yards.
Completely. We Steve and I both assumed it had to have something to do with the Jets-Browns game because there was weird stuff going on with the scoring during that game. And it ended up being in the Tennessee game. And the weird thing is, they've done stat changes when it is like, a quarterback rush versus a sack, or whether it's a shovel pass, whether it's a pass versus a run, that kind of thing. But I've never seen 3 days after the game has finished and ESPN changes, or official scoring changes 1 yard more for a specific player.
It was unbelievable.
To me, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because, if Henry plays for the Titans, so if the Titans have 492 total yards of offense at the end of the day, and Derrick Henry had 110 of them.
Yeah, they're all accounted for somewhere.
They're all accounted for. So how can he magically end up with one more yard without somebody else losing a yard? But
Right.
for somehow he just ended up with one more yard.
And Yahoo actually posted a stat correction of that change, but ESPN did not, whereas they post every
Yes.
other minute correction they
And
make.
Steve was sure to tell us about that at 1:15 a.m. on Friday morning.
I can't imagine how furious he is. Like, if I'm Steve, I don't blame him. I'd have been obsessed with how the hell that could have possibly happened or what went wrong. But, I mean, man, what a way to lose a week. Like, I spent all week giving you shit about being 0-2. Turns out you're actually 1-1, so I have to take all that shit back. And, you know, it's kind of, it's terrible. My heart bleeds for Steve. It really does. To think you won all the way up until Thursday, you're already looking at like the next week, like, all right, you know, that week's in the books. I'm moving on. And then you look back, it's like, how did I just lose that? It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the worst part is I feel the worst for Steve because my team's terrible and there was no reason I should have won that game.
Your team is terrible.
Let's talk about my team.
Let's. I want to hear the shame from your own mouth. Tell me about what went wrong for you this year.
Well, we're 2 weeks in, so it's not like it has completely gone wrong. But I think that we did a post draft discussion, right?
We did. We kind of talked about what we liked, hated, did different, what we would do differently as far as the auction goes. Now that we learned a little about each other.
Well, here's the problem I have. My team's not horrible, but my team can't be ever rectified. I don't think. I need to make a trade right now. Yet I have there's nobody I can trade. There's nobody worth trading. I have no depth in any position. I am not strong anywhere.
That was going to be my question: is what would you trade for? Like, how would you?
I can't. There's nothing I could trade for right now. I am stuck in purgatory. I have basically a 7th or 8th place team that I just cannot fix because this year, oddly enough, I don't really feel like there's anybody that you have been able to get in waivers the first 2 weeks that are going to make a massive impact.
Right. And weeks 1 and 2 are kind of your clutch waiver pickup weeks where you start to learn about guys that are going to really show up this year, and you try to take your run at them without, obviously blowing your entire waiver budget, especially when you realize if I'm going to win this league, if I'm going to get into the playoffs, it's going to be based off of really strong, smart waiver moves. I cannot make mistakes right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I mean, I entered the draft. See, not to toot my own horn here or anything, but the way I would always, my normal way to draft was always try to get as many sure things early on and use the mid rounds to cherry pick depth.
Sure.
And my plan always was I always went for talent. It didn't matter. I didn't care whether I came out of the draft with 3 running backs or only 3 wide receivers. If I had enough talent across my team, I would just wheel and deal until I had the starting lineup I needed.
Right.
For the end of the season. That's been my strategy for years and years and years. Well, coming out of this draft, with the auction being different, I whiffed. I mean, we're 2 weeks in. I whiffed on my quarterback. I spent a lot of money on Baker Mayfield. I whiffed. I had a plan to get 2 of 4 quarterbacks that were kind of down. I picked Mayfield to go for rather than Lamar Jackson. That probably hurt me a bunch. Ed ended up with him, and Ed and I are kind of in the same boat. He's got no running backs. I have no receivers, but neither of us can trade with each other,
right?
Because if I give him a running back and he gives me a receiver, then we're really not any stronger at those positions. But
right, you're perpetuating your mediocrity just in a different way.
We're just trading mediocrity for mediocrity in different positions. So, yeah. So I mean, I came out. I basically have the weakest receiver core and I hit on my top 2 running backs, but really nowhere else for depth. And I tried to draft a bunch of receivers, and I missed on all of them. And Kittle just seems to constantly score touchdowns that get called back on penalties.
Right.
So that doesn't help me at all either.
Yeah, that's
I
rough.
have a middling defense and a kicker who can score you potentially a lot of points in Gostkowski, but also misses like 7 field goals a year, which really annoys people too. So this long diatribe about my team that it really isn't going to matter to anyone.
Keep in mind, listeners at home, I know you guys are like, oh my God, like I didn't turn on this podcast just to listen to Pope talk about his own team, but I am just soaking this in, loving every beautiful second of it. Because if you all remember, I took a lot of shit for the way I drafted, right? Like, oh man, he picked 5 guys and then he sat and waited. I'm pretty happy with my team. Just saying. A lot of shit.
Yeah, you're happy with your team right now.
I took shit. I'm just saying. Would you rather have your team or my team?
You're still going to finish in 7th place.
Would you rather have your team or my team?
Right now? I mean, your team. Right now.
Thank you. That's all I need.
But you're 1 injury away. By the way, don't you have an injury right now?
Not anymore. Josh Jacobs had a groin thing, but he's fully cleared. No restrictions.
But I thought Carson was hurt too.
Chris Carson? No, he just fumbled during the game, but he's fine. But we have other breaking news.
This fucking button.
Antonio Brown, who spent his 1 week playing football, of course, Joey.
And it was a hell of a good week.
Yeah, that's the funny part, right? And I said that in the fucking smackboard. I was like, of course, the 1 week Antonio Brown is going to play professional football. He's playing against me. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I still won, but hey, the Patriots released him. So he's free game again. I don't know if any team is going to pick him up or if these allegations are just too ridiculous or his just pure psychotic behavior.
Yeah. By the way, you were railing for the Packers to pick him up. What do you think?
Still am. I mean, as long as he didn't, like, obviously, if he did do the things he's being alleged against, like, he's a terrible person. He shouldn't play football. He should be fucking put in prison. Now, if none of that's true, like you've seen with other allegations against football players that, turn out to be untrue, fuck yeah, I would take Antonio Brown on the Packers. Even though he's crazy, he's Antonio Brown. He's the best wide receiver I'm aware of in current football today. I don't know who would you rather have? Like, let's say everybody's just a mindless fucking drone, right? Who would you rather have than Antonio Brown?
Well,
maybe DeAndre Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm a DeAndre Hopkins fan, so
yeah,
I'm biased.
I love him too, but I'd rather have him than Julio. I'd rather have him than Odell.
Yeah, Julio doesn't score touchdowns.
Julio gets hurt a lot. His feet are just, I mean, Christ, Antonio Brown froze his feet and fucked him up completely, and he still can play football. Julio Jones can have a year off of football and still fracture his toe just going for a catch. So give me Antonio Brown all day. I would love that on the Packers.
Yeah.
God, that'd be beautiful.
I just think he's fucking nuts.
Yeah, so what? Aaron Rodgers is nuts. We deal with him. He's doing detrimental shit all the time. He is.
Aaron Rodgers is a problem.
So let's just commit to it. Let's just imagine Aaron Rodgers throwing to Devontae Adams and Antonio Brown. Sign me up for that all day long. Oh, that'd be beautiful. I'm getting excited.
You getting a little chub? A Kittle chub, actually?
I don't know. I mean, if I get a Kittle chug, it'll get penalized and called back. I want to keep it.
It's Friday night. It's 10:30 p.m. Robert and I have been drinking.
We have been.
We had a plan of a lot of stuff to talk about, and we really... What are you doing?
I'm taking your picture.
While I'm talking?
Yeah. Yes.
You gonna Instagram that or what?
No, I'm just sending it to Nicole.
Oh, great.
This is how you keep... We can get into this during the family portion, but this is how you keep your relationship alive, is by sending stupid little pictures and being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. It's like you're here with me, so don't feel like, having fun without you.
Yeah, but Nicole's right upstairs.
Yeah. But she's
So why are you sending her a picture?
Because she's not here with us.
She's right upstairs.
Yeah. I'll get up there in a little bit. We have to finish the podcast first.
All right.
Nobody has any idea what we're talking about. He's talking about his Nicole, by the way. You got to explain to the viewers. Can't have inside jokes on a podcast.
Number one, they're not viewers because all they see is a gentleman picture.
Yes,
which
they view it.
One of these years, we'll actually get a gentleman fantasy podcast thing.
I don't think it's worth it. We're not good looking enough to have it show our faces while we're talking.
No. I'm talking about.
I'd have to start wearing pants. That's
I'm talking about the logo. The logo we use now is just we're gonna make it green and it'll say fantasy football underneath.
Oh, nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, we'll do that someday.
All right. We're literally never gonna do that.
No, we're never gonna do that. It's never gonna happen.
Moving on.
I really have nothing to talk about this week.
Should we talk?
Why do we have nothing to talk about?
I
feel like there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
We're 2 weeks in. Let's look at the standings. Pull up the standings.
Let's look at the standings.
Let's talk about some points for.
Or 1-0 or 0.
Nobody's 2-2.
Nobody's 2-2.
I guarantee that. I am 2-0.
I honestly feel like I have nothing to talk about.
I think I'm 4 points out of high points too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been good so far.
It's been good.
Vance McDonald.
Now you are 1.4 points behind Ed.
Yeah.
Of all people.
Yeah, my mortal enemy this year.
Wow.
We're going to duke that shit out. This is going to be great. Now, if you remember last year, I think it was me against Ed to see who would stay undefeated. It was week 5 or something like that. And he ultimately beat me, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
It's kind of exciting. I'm going to take him down. Ed cannot go back-to-back championships. I'd be upset.
Hey, let's talk about, if we're just talking about us, let's talk about Josh Allen. You dropped Josh Allen.
Sure did.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Why'd you drop Josh Allen?
So I texted you when it was, a day post-draft. We were kind of randomly talking about who we got, what we liked, what we didn't like. I really wanted Jared Goff. I thought that, with the weapons he has and the Rams offense, it was something I wanted. So I came out of the draft with Dak and Allen, and I was okay with it. I rolled out Dak, which he's been fantastic. Obviously, he's the second best quarterback in fantasy.
Yeah. Dak's been great this year. That the Cowboys' offense has been fantastic.
Yeah, and I didn't expect that. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I knew Dak was going to be borderline the best quarterback. No, I'm not that ignorant. I thought he was going to be good. Top 10 kind of good, not top 2, but I'll take it, right? But I really wanted Jared Goff. I missed him. Chops got him. And then he dropped him last week, and I spent 11 waiver dollars to get him back, and I felt really good about that. I was like, it's like I had the exact draft I planned for once I got Goff on my team. I wanted to get my running backs and wide receivers, my starters, all set. I wanted to have the best-looking running backs and wide receivers I could have.
Oh, the best-looking kids.
Yeah, and... And the quarterback thing I knew I would figure out. Between Goff and Dak, I felt like I was going to hit on them at least enough to figure it out. And if they didn't hit, there's quarterbacks everywhere. There's fucking 36 quarterbacks, and there's only 12 of us. I'm going to get a starter that'll make shit happen. I could pick one off of waivers today if I really needed to. Otherwise, I was like, I'll just spend $1 on random pickups and, figure it out along the way. That's why you get a $100 waiver budget. You look at every team at the end of the year. It's not the team you drafted, so that my bench didn't really matter to me. I'm not expecting my starters to get hurt the first 3 weeks. And if they do, that's where you start plug and play and figuring it out.
No, they get hurt in week 11.
Right.
And then you're like, oh man, there's nothing I can do to fix this problem.
Yeah. But you spend the whole year establishing that depth, right? Those waiver pickups most of the time aren't desperation. I picked this guy up because I need to start him this week. Hopefully.
Yeah, I do that now.
Yeah, but hopefully that's not your problem. So my mindset was completely different with the auction versus the snake, where you're just forced to take a first round guy, a second round guy, a third round guy. I was like, fuck that. I'm going to take as many of the higher end guys I can afford, and at the end of the day, I'll spend $1 for everyone else just to see what that looks like. And sure enough, it's exactly what I wanted. It looks fantastic. And I hit the lottery with Dak so far. And
Well, I mean,
I'm
your
going to keep
starting
riding
lineup
that.
looks fantastic.
Yeah.
You don't have a single guy you can put in any of your spots except for maybe Frank Gore.
That's not important to me.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
If my bench, what do I need my bench for? To fill in for bye weeks? I'll figure that shit out. My starters are my priority. The people I'm rolling out week to week that are doing battle against the other guy look really good. Mm-hmm. That's all I care about. The rest, I have, like I said when we did our last podcast, I have a $100 waiver budget to figure out the rest of it. I'll fill my bench up as time goes on. I'll pick my spots, I'll get my guys, and they'll start A, if somebody gets hurt, or B, in a bye week, and I'll make it work.
And so you will.
What if, like, I'm just saying, like, if I didn't take anybody in the first, let's say, what would be the first 2 rounds of a snake draft, and I just loaded my team up with the entire 5th and 6th round guys, would I really be happy with my starters, or would I even know who to start? I would be constantly battling with, do I start, insert random guy here, another random guy there from the 5th round, and you're just going to sit there and have this mind fuck, and you're always going to start the wrong guy, because that's always what happens, right? Mm-hmm. Instead, I wanted to be like, these are my starters, rain or shine, and if I need to figure something else out, I got these guys on the bench.
All right.
That was a long rant, too.
That was a long rant, yeah. You were starting to lose me there. I was thinking about where we were going to go next.
Where are we going? I was just buying time.
Oh, we're going to the Ring of Fire.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Which is this week's sponsor of the Gentleman Fantasy Football Podcast. Now that I'm a resident of the greater Shoto area, we will now have Ring of Fire Bar as our title sponsor.
It's where the if I win,
It's where Johnny Cash would have a Ring of Fire.
if I win the championship, that's where we'll have the fantasy party at
Yeah,
the end of the
it's
year.
a wing. They have wings there, and that's how you get the Ring of Fire.
Oh, how do they have like really hot wings? Like, is it?
Oh,
real?
I have no idea. I just, it's a joke.
You've never eaten there.
I've eaten there once.
Ooh, did you have the crab?
No, I had wings.
Oh, okay. Were they good?
Yes.
This is important. This is more important than anything
No,
we've
I
talked
mean,
about.
they were good wings.
All right.
Aaron left $18 at the bar, though. It was a mistake.
Not a tip.
No, it was a mistake. Anyway.
Listen, this podcast, we weren't even going to do it. And then we did it because we felt like we owed it to you guys. Plus, we were talking about football upstairs, and we kind of got ourselves excited enough to actually talk to you. So bear with us. Yeah. Normally, we have like a plan. Remember last week, I was like, we put on a fucking awesome show. We're ready to talk about stuff. This is like the polar opposite. We just hooked up microphones and pushed play.
Basically.
I don't even have anything in front of me. I don't have Kyle's wireless, so we're both looking at his laptop. I have no information at all.
So let's talk about something that's slightly football related, but slightly not.
All right.
Let's talk about this ESPN shit, okay? I know it's one of those, once you get used to a new layout, you get used to it, blah, 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 everything's fine.
Oh, yeah, they did some real work this year.
But it really annoys the shit out of me that the season player rankings are in the middle of the screen, the total fantasy points are in the middle of the screen, the average is in the middle of the screen. It's not right next to the guy's name like it used to be.
Right.
Where they just had a column. Here's the yearly stats. That way you could look it up quickly. Because, goddamn it, when I'm scrolling halfway down, I'm going, all right, what fucking column is what? Also, why do they make it? This is something that Bill said on the Simmons podcast. Why do they make it so fucking difficult to add and drop players?
Dude, I do not know.
Why do you have to go through 4 screens? Especially on the app. The app is the worst. All right, you click on players. Then it gives you 3 notable positions in every, or 3 notable players in every position. You scroll down, you find a position or whatever you want to look at, click on it. Then it goes to those guys. Then if you want to search a stat, you have to run through 10 different things. Then if you want to pick the guy up, you have to click on the guy. Then you have to hit claim. Then you have to put in a dollar amount without even knowing who you're going to drop them for. Then you get into the thing, and it asks you, who do you want to drop? I want to drop this guy. Click on this. Then you go up on top of the screen, hit claim. Then it says, are you sure you want to do it? Yes, no, whatever. Click yes. It takes you back to your roster screen where you have to go through the whole process again to select another guy. I mean, this literally, when you put in for waivers, you know, the first couple weeks of the season, there's a lot of jockeying. You know, there might be 2 guys you want to drop, but you have 10 guys that you'd be willing to pick up because you know it's going to be a feeding frenzy. And there's, you know, you can't just put in a waiver claim for 2 different guys because if you don't get them and you got guys in your team that you want to drop for other guys, you know, you got to have multiple claims per guy. And you can sit there for freaking half an hour putting in goddamn waiver claims. Why can't they just make it simple? I want this guy for this much.
The one thing I do like, though, is when you're a person that does actual research and you know who you want to get and they aren't in that little top 3 block, like you feel real confident that you're going to get them for a pretty low price.
Right.
Because everyone else that's just like, oh shit, I need a wideout because my wideout got hurt is putting $10-11 on whoever's in that top 3, not realizing that they might be in that top 3 just because of a weekly matchup, B, a very temporary injury, you know, some weird situation where it's not really worth the pickup. And you're sitting there scrolling down like, oh, look, he's way down here. Nobody's going to get him. I could put $1 on this guy and get what could be the best, you know, option at that position. It's fantastic. That part I like. It rewards people that actually know what they're doing.
Right. And I like to look at some of the advanced metrics on some of this stuff because the first couple of weeks there's a lot of, you know, smoke and mirrors. Yeah, so-and-so had a 24-point game, but he had 2 touchdowns on 4 catches, but he only had 5 targets.
Right. What's his name from the Chiefs or Emmanuel Sanders even? Like, these guys are playing way outside what's going to be their actual scope for the rest of the season.
But, I mean, if you're looking at a player who had a couple big weeks to start the season, but he's only getting, you know, 3 or 4 targets a game, or a running back who's putting up really good stats but is not ever winning the team's carry load.
Right.
You know, some of that stuff weeds itself out over time, you know.
Exactly. And to your point, I don't know if you read it, probably not, but I would urge everybody, since you already have an ESPN account, Matthew Berry's love-hate this week, which I didn't read all the way through, but the beginning couple paragraphs actually outline exactly what you said.
You know, we should talk about the love-hate thing, too, because sometimes I get a kick out of it, but keep going.
Yeah, so he went on about sort of how players start off and how they finish, and how you can't, but you also need to take the first couple weeks into account. It's a really interesting read. I'm not going to break the entire thing down, but he did this really cool perspective where he showed a bunch of guys that really sucked in the first couple weeks that ended up finishing top 10 in their position. A bunch of guys that really did great in the first couple weeks that finished in the 50 plus at their position. So overreacting can be a mistake. Dropping somebody that you drafted for a reason, you know, stick with your guys. Think about the system. Think about the matchups. There's more to it than just, he fucked me 2 weeks in a row, I'm dropping him.
Well, I mean, the perfect example is D'Angelo Williams.
Right. Okay.
I mean, this is a long time ago, but D'Angelo Williams was in Carolina. Jonathan Stewart had been drafted. Jonathan Stewart was a rookie. He was supposed to be the next guy in line. D'Angelo Williams bounced around from 3 or 4 different teams in our league until like week 7 or 8, when I don't remember who got him, but rode him the rest of the year, and he went pretty deep into the playoffs. I think it might have been Luke.
Luke traded him to me for Ryan Grant.
So you had him at the end of the season?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that was the year I lost to Los in the championship game.
You were in a championship game?
One.
How do I not believe you?
Do what you want, man. I was in one championship game. I lost to Los. I knew I would lose, too. His team was fantastic. He had, like, karma on his side, too. That was the year he got his eyes all fucked up. Like,
No,
he was
Kamara. He had Kamara on his side.
Yeah, he nice. There's another one. By the way, you had Ed's team up, name to be determined.
Yeah,
Does that
I'm
mean he's
wondering
going to
if
name
he's-
his team determined? Or does it mean...
Well, you know, if you look at the abbreviation, because
It just says
It
determined.
just says determined on it.
That's why I was saying, like, is he doing that as like eventually
Yeah.
I'm going to name it determined?
No, his name will be determined.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Good point. Oh shit. History. Let's.
Packers are 2-0.
Go.
Just
the
putting that
Packers
out there.
are 2-0.
3-0 is coming up. I don't see a world where we lose to the Broncos. That being said, if Rodgers gets hurt, because, Broncos front line is pretty brutal.
Oh shit! You did lose to Los in 2011,
You went back to check that? You're sick.
and I took 3rd place.
You disgust me.
How about that?
Look at that. Me, you, and Los. 1, 2, 3.
That's when I had Fred Jackson. Who did Los have on his team that year? Let's find out.
He made those awesome waiver pickups. You remember that? He had that fucking Cowboys guy and everything.
Well, it looks like
Laurent Robinson.
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah, that's right.
Remember, he was nuts. He
Yeah.
was really good. I'm gonna move the mic. I'm sorry. It's gonna make a bunch of noise. Sorry, not sorry. I need to see the computer.
all right.
There we go.
Now we're talking 2011 winning.
Let me know if you remember any of these
man.
guys.
No, Arian Foster was huge this
Yep.
year. Matt Stafford, Michael Turner, Arian Foster, Vincent Jackson, Victor Cruz, Laurent Robinson,
That was the other big one. Was Victor Cruz was
Yep.
crazy good that year.
Dustin Keller at tight end. Wow.
Jesus.
Lions defense, Matt Bryant. His bench was Mario Manningham, Brandon Pettigrew, Nate Washington, Matt Forte,
Wow. Remember Brandon Pettigrew?
Alex Smith, Bernard Scott, and the Redskins defense. That's
Yeah.
how we ended the season. That does not seem like a. I mean, I guess maybe that
You
was.
remember how big Michael Turner was? He was supposed to be amazing. He didn't do that great the year after he was great. People were drafting him like number 2, number 1.
I mean, he only averaged 13 points a game in this one. Arian Foster, 16. Interesting.
Yep. That was pretty cool.
How about that?
There
All
you
right,
go.
well, that
The
was
ch-
your 2011 champ.
Slap a Ho Nation 2011 champ. The more you know. Sometimes it's good to go back into one of those
Let's go
weird
back.
deep dives.
You know what? I think we should
league
make that-
history is important. We should have a league
I was
history
gonna say,
note
we
from
should
every.
we should make that a one night or a one time thing every
Yeah.
every
should-
episode. We're doing that. I'm just gonna pick a random team from a random year, and we're just gonna
We're
talk
just gonna
about
name off
their
the
team.
players and go, yeah, remember that guy?
Wow.
That was fun. That was actually more fun than I thought it would be. That was really neat.
Oh shit! All right. Next week we will do. We're gonna do
2014.
Andrew's team from 2014.
Boom.
That's next week. We're never gonna remember that.
I'll remember. You know why? Because of Andrew's
I will
hair.
remember you.
Give me a head with hair, long, beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, streaming, waxing, waxing.
I still haven't seen it. He wasn't at the draft.
Oh yeah, it's really long now.
You told me these tales
really
of
long.
how he's basically Rapunzel with I still
Basically.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, he.
I might go out of my way just to go to his house. He's
It's
going to be really
interesting.
confused.
His house is bigger now. He's got a front.
So is yours.
He's got it is bigger. He has a front bedroom. But she's in the front of the house.
Oh, okay. I had no idea what that meant.
He added
front
on to the
bedroom?
front of his house. He's got a front bedroom now.
Oh, good to know.
And a doorbell. I fixed the doorbell.
You fixed it. So he didn't have a doorbell, and now he does.
No, he had a doorbell. It got broken.
Nice.
So
What's next? We doing matchups? What are we
I
talking
don't
about?
fucking know what
You
we're
have
doing.
your team up. We talked about your team and my
Yeah, we
team
don't wanna
ad
talk about-
nauseum.
nah, let's
Nobody
not do
wants
that.
to hear anything
Just
about us. Go Pack.
All right. See you later.
Go.
No, really, Mike. Go Pack.
Now I get it.
Fuck it. Let's do the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Or matchups or whatever. Fuck it.
Last week or this week?
Last week.
Yeah. Fuck
No.
it.
What?
Yes.
I don't know. Whatever this brings me up to. What the fuck is going on here?
Ooh, now here's an ad from your sponsor.
What is this? Maybe I'm not used to looking at this. Fuck this.
We're learning on the fly, people. This is a live podcast. We're not cutting anything out, deleting anything, re-recording. We go fucking full
I really
frontal.
hate how they do this now. It's fucking pissing me off.
Can we talk about Minshew?
No, let's not talk about Minshew.
Dude, I love that guy.
Because if I could have 4 quarterbacks, I'd have him on my team.
I love Minshew.
G Minshew.
I am not going to pick him up. The second. G. Minshew the second.
The second. He is the second Minshew.
Which is funny because they looked it up and there actually is no...
There's no Minshew the first.
There is not.
He was literally...
His parents are so weird they actually named
his
him...
grandpa wanted to name him...
Yeah. Gardner Minshew the second.
Yeah.
There's no Gardner
but
Minshew
his
the
grandpa
first.
wanted to name him fucking like... I don't know. It was something ridiculous.
It's a neat story.
Balls of Fire or something.
Yeah. Minshew is really crazy. He works out in his jockstrap. He's got
Really?
really good quads. His mustache is glorious.
His second option for name was Gaylord.
Ooh, nice. He's my second favorite quarterback in the NFL right now.
He's fun.
Yeah.
He's a backup.
He is, and he might be better than Nick Foles.
Air Raid. All right, let's do some matchups here. Kittle Chubb versus Comerica. Fuck yeah. I can't vote on this one, so who do you got in this game? It's me and Jason.
Scroll to the main lineup here. Again, we did this on the fly, so let me just look at it real quick. You're starting Josh Allen, who I just dropped for Jared Goff.
Matthew Berry has him ranked as the number 6 quarterback
Ooh,
this week.
look at you and Matthew Berry, because he's always right.
Yeah,
Let me tell you something. I spent the first few years of my fantasy career just basically doing whatever Matthew Berry says. Doesn't work.
Speaking of Matthew Berry, I got a thing. The love-hate column. I understand, like, he's got to love some people and hate some people.
Yep.
And, you can hate someone who is a good player this week because you don't think he's going to have a good week. But some of it, to me, it's an article that it's like, all right, well, if you're going to give me a whole diatribe on how you hate Derrick Henry in the first week, I'm sorry, but if I have Derrick Henry on my team, which I do, if I have Derrick Henry on my team and it's the first week of the season and I spent a lot of money to draft him, just because he's on your hate column, it's not like I'm not going to start him. I don't have anybody fucking else to play.
He's actually put that out before. So, like...
No, I understand that. But
you can
he's
hate,
just,
like, Devontae Adams, but he's
I
not going
understand
to
that,
tell you to
but
bench Devontae Adams for Sterling Shepard.
But the point I'm trying to make is I don't bother to read those parts of his article.
Right.
Because he's telling me that he hates Derrick Henry. Well, there's no point in me reading why he hates Derrick Henry. I got nobody else to fucking play behind him. So what do I care what he thinks about Derrick Henry? The only ones I really care about are the ones that are on the bubble.
True. But
that's the point I'm trying to make.
I guess it depends. It's team by team, right? Maybe Maybe there is somebody who has that flexibility where
if
they
Derrick
could
Henry's on your
or
bubble,
maybe
you got a good team.
They account for daily fantasy as well. So maybe you don't.
Okay.
Daily fantasy is a big thing now.
Yeah, fuck daily fantasy. I don't give a shit.
I feel the same way, but I'm just saying he has to cater to everybody.
But seriously, I like listening to the Fantasy Football podcast. And a lot of times they'll spend like the first 20 minutes of the show just fucking, well, you could spend $77 on Lamar Jackson this week, but you couldn't. Like, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care.
All right, so I have 3 reasons you're going to lose this week.
Okay, great. Let's make it happen.
Reason number 1, you're you. Reason number 2, Tyler Lockett, Calvin Ridley, we're yours.
And I traded him to him last year.
And they were highly touted by you, and it seems really ironic that those were your boys, your little deep wide receiver golden nugget pickups that you had. I feel like they're going to betray you this week. It's going to feel all too well. And number 3 is the Patriots defense against the Jets. That's just a 20-pointer waiting to happen. I'm sorry. But even if you have every reason to win, I just feel like that game alone is going to swing in a large direction because the Pats D is going to end up with fucking like 25 points against the Jets, who don't even have Sam Darnold. When you don't even have a starting quarterback who would already have been like the 31st best quarterback in the NFL, whoever the backup is, I mean, it's going to be a shit show. Mm-hmm. This will be the 3rd shit show Patriots game in a row, which is a joke.
Yeah.
Just saying.
About that.
Best case scenario is James White and Julian Edelman score a bunch of those touchdowns, and you benefit from it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure happy that Antonio Brown's not around because it makes my Patriots look better.
Yes.
Because that was the other reason why I was shitting my pants after 2 weeks.
That's a fantastic point. Your team actually got a lot better without Antonio Brown.
Right. That, like I said, that was another reason why I was shitting my pants 2 weeks in. Because I'm looking at it going, all right, cool. So I had what I thought was a number 1 wide receiver who isn't anymore. And I had James White, who, by all accounts, going into the season was basically, even though he's a running back,
the number
he's
2
their
wide
number
receiver.
2 wide receiver. So even though I was weak at wide receiver, I at least had Edelman as a number 1 and White being someone I could play in the flex as a running back, but still give you wide receiver numbers.
Yeah, that's a great point. You might actually see a nice upswing now in production. Or the Patriots will just...
Yeah, or they'll just throw it to Philip Dorsett again.
Yeah, every single time. Or whoever their tight end
Josh
is.
Gordon. By the way, Josh Gordon has looked good so far, and as long as he quits smoking weed...
That's a big if.
Continues to stop smoking weed.
Him and Ricky Williams are tight, man.
Yeah.
Ricky!
He might do something.
No yawning in the podcast. Now everybody listening just yawned. You know that shit's contagious.
It's contagious. So this right here, the next matchup, Bobbs Johnson versus, to start who? Catch 22?
You know what the catch 22 is, right?
Yeah, it's
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey. Yeah,
just making sure.
No, I get that.
I can't stop looking at Minshew. What a stud.
Yeah.
They have him in a little caption on the side every screen we go to, and I'm just like, Gardner Minshew. I might, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put a couple bucks on him this week.
Couple bucks?
Yep. We'll try to pick him up.
I guess I'm going to have to put 3 on him then. I'm probably, by the end of this week, I'll probably just drop Mayfield.
Somebody probably already owns him. That's the funny part. I don't even know.
Minshew? No, nobody owns him.
I'm going to start a bidding war right now.
If
who wants Minshew worse than me?
If Josh Allen,
sweet quads.
If Josh Allen wouldn't have been out there, I was going to put money on him.
He looks really good. He's been making plays.
He's a good-looking kid. Accurate. He's an accurate passer.
Do you see his legs?
Do you think we could do 20 minutes on Gardner Minshew?
I could easily do. I could do 20 minutes on his mustache. The man is a champion. He's ready for the NFL. Some quarterbacks aren't ready. He was ready.
All right, moving on. You picked Jason in the last one.
How'd picking against me go for you last week?
I don't remember.
I won.
Oh, he did. Yeah. By the way, somewhere in this move, I lost some documents. I'll find them eventually, but I don't know what the score is right now on.
Oh, you
on
son of a bitch! See, this is why I was like, should we do a quick pod? Should we just talk about our picks? You're like, no. I texted them to you. Here, we have them. We do have
You
the
actually
picks.
did not, from last week.
Yeah.
But I don't know who actually won them. We're not going to waste our time. Anyways.
We've wasted their time already.
Yeah, I know. We've been wasting your time for the last 40 minutes probably.
Not important. If you had enough time to listen to this podcast, you're fine with it.
Yeah. Right now, Aaron's listening going, I can't fucking believe
Wow, this
I
is a
actually-
tough one.
This is the worst one.
They
I've
really
listened
need to prepare.
All right, Robert versus Travis. I'm not going to get very far into this. Aside from he's starting Mostert.
Yeah, look at that Tennessee
what do you
defense
know?
and how well that did him. 0.
And he's got
He's off to a great start.
He's got the putts. Why is Kerryon Johnson benched?
Can we get a quick drop for my boy, by the way? He benched.
Carry on my wayward son.
You know, I wasn't going to draft him this year because
Carry on my wayward son.
I knew that
Carry on my wayward son.
wasn't going to have a stellar year. But I can't believe that he benched him.
Carry on my wayward son.
And of all weeks, he benched him
Carry on
against me.
my wayward son.
Like, of all times to go for that, like, ironic twist kind of factor, like, I don't know. It saddens me. And I'm going to try to make him an offer for him this week. I'm going to try to package some nice little deal. I'm like, hey, you got him benched anyways. Clearly you have better options, so go ahead and give me
Carry on my wayward son.
my guy.
All right.
That was an intense drop for him. This podcast just became worth listening to.
Stupid.
I didn't even know the name of the guy he picked up, by the way, that actually had had like 11 points on Travis's bench. Some random receiver that Minshew must actually like.
Yep. DJ Chark.
Yeah, your new quarterback wide receiver stack of the future. Gardner Minshew and DJ Chark. Travis was ahead of the curve on that, just so you know.
You didn't see it? Because Chark's actually been leading them in receiving yards since week 1.
Can we
And
talk
that's
about
what- and
you
that's-
dropping D.D. Westbrook?
Yeah, because he's worthless right now.
I really like him.
I like him too, but there's 2 guys on the Jacksonville depth chart that are getting more targets, more yardage, more catches than him right now, and Chark's one of them.
I'm a D.D. guy.
I don't understand. He was supposed to be my number 2 again. I was weak at wide receiver, but I drafted what I assumed was a lot of depth.
Yeah. Attention, Fantasy Football League. I have some money out there on D.D. Westbrook, so if you want him, you better be putting some money down.
Oh, you've been DD'd.
Yeah. D.D. is going to be on my bench because I like him.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. That was another waiver fuck up because I had to do waivers last minute.
What did you pay for D.D.?
Oh, I had like $4.
You got him that cheap?
Yeah, he was almost nothing.
Wow. I thought that was a real good deal coming out of the draft.
I thought it was too until there's other guys that get in.
Foles love D.D. Minshew
Foles did
doesn't love D.D.
No,
Minshew loves his quads and his mustache.
but the DD situation. Yeah, I was supposed to drop Ted Ginn, but the freaking waiver pickup thing got screwed up. And
You kept Ginn and dropped D.D.? I'm
you
upset.
see, I was supposed to drop Ginn.
I'm genuinely
but
upset.
they got put in the wrong order.
Oh,
And
your waiver claim order.
My
I
waiver
get it.
claim order was wrong, and I ended up dropping Didi. So I was like, "Oh, cool." I don't remember who I picked up.
Josh Allen?
No, I don't think. I think it was Randall Cobb.
It's not important. You did get Randall Cobb. I remember
I
that.
think it was Randall Cobb, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I got Randall Cobb."
Good
Why
pickup,
the
by
fuck
the way.
don't I have Didi Westbrook
you
anymore?
outbid me by like $1 for Cobb.
Yeah, and actually, I think Travis had like $11 on Cobb, but he didn't get him because he had already picked up Mostert.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Interesting start. That might actually be good. Mostert's a stud. He's a great running back.
Yeah, his stats have been good over the first 3 weeks.
Agreed. It helps that Tevin Coleman's been battling injury and Breida as well. So,
All right, well, I don't believe in you, and no, wait, never mind.
oh, you're gonna let those ESPN projections sway you?
No,
I
no.
don't believe in you. To me,
I just realized that you said he's playing 8 on 9.
yeah, because
He's got no defense.
his defense he started had 0.
I don't like this.
Because my boy Gardner Minshew just torched the Tennessee defense.
Deshaun Watson's playing the Clippers.
Just look at it. Look at that glorious lineup. You know
I
want
don't
to
think
pick me.
Stephon Diggs is good this year.
You want to pick me. Look at that shit.
Sony Michel, Evan Ingram hasn't done anything. Yeah,
He has.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm picking Robert.
Yeah, you're smarter than you look.
All right. Moving on. Second string versus Big Papa Chops. We got Luke versus Kyle. What are you thinking here, Bob?
I'm thinking there's two beautiful quarterbacks in this matchup.
Holy
I'll tell
shit,
you
he's
that right
playing
now.
Ronald Jones.
Wow.
I mean, I knew he liked him, but Jesus Christ.
That's
Let's look at Ronald Jones here.
I thought the other guy was doing much better. What's his name? Who's the other?
Yeah, I don't understand
Peyton
that.
Barber. Peyton Barber's been the guy. I don't know how Ronald Jones makes
why
this
is
lineup.
he in his starting lineup? 17 carries for 84 yards and a total of 10 fantasy points for the season?
Weird.
Huh. Wonder if there's something I didn't know.
Unless Peyton Barber's hurt, there's no reason that
Jones
should be a
logged just 4 touches in week 2.
thing. The caption should just say Jones logged. Like he deuced. He failed. He pooped. He pooped in his big boy pants. Anyways, moving on.
I'm confused. All right.
Look, Luke.
I think I can't pick Luke just because
Luke
of that.
does Luke things. What else does he have? Juju, who's
He's
fucked.
starting DeMarcus Robinson.
Juju is fucked. DeMarcus
Holy
Robinson.
shit, he picked up both Kansas City wide receivers and is starting both of them.
What? Look at
He's-
this
you know,
stack.
Luke does
Patrick
not know what
Mahomes,
he's doing anymore.
DeMarcus Robinson, and Hardman. That's
So
insanity.
when Tyreek Hill comes back and neither of those guys play, I want to say he blew a lot of money on those guys.
This is wild. Does he have Tyreek Hill?
No, I don't think so. He's got Darius Geis on IR. Ooh, yeah, and he's got Melvin Gordon just sitting there. Oof.
What a mess.
AJ Green's out.
You might be looking at the worst team in the league right here. Go back up. God, he's got Mahomes, but look at the rest of that. Ertz has not been great.
Yeah, Mark Ingram really hasn't
He
done.
spent money on Ertz, too.
Interesting.
Juju doesn't have Ben. Ben doesn't. The backup doesn't look to him a lot. This is a mess. He might end up in dead last. I'm calling it. This is a mess. Give me whoever's playing against Luke. I'm calling it right
Chops.
now.
It's Chops. I'm taking Chops too.
I'm picking whoever's playing Luke every week for the rest of the season. Mark it down.
I want to give Crow a little props here.
If I pick Luke any week, you guys tell me and I'll buy you a pizza.
You know, if there's one thing I learned about this draft is just go for the guy. Don't. There's less playing games. Just get the fucking guys you want. Don't worry about, so here's the thing. I had read some stuff. I listened to some stuff about Mark Andrews, the Baltimore tight end, and everything that I had read and seen was pointing to the fact that he was going to be an integral part of this offense going forward. But going into the season, the big thing was, are they just going to run the ball all the time? And so I picked Kittle. And even though I liked Andrews, I thought, maybe I'll take a flyer, $1 flyer on him at the end of the draft. And when the end of the draft came, I was hurting for wide receivers, so I was trying to hoard as many of them as I could. I ignored Mark Andrews, and to Chops' credit, Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown have been fantastic for him so far.
Yeah, we gave him shit about the Baltimore thing, but they've been fantastic. I admit I did the same shit. I was like, he's just grabbing Ravens, but that was fantastic. They've been very productive for now. But, Hollywood Brown is going to be...
Mark Andrews is probably the number one tight end in the league right now. As far as position ranking.
Correct.
17 points a game.
That being said, I think end of the year, Kittle... I don't see a world where he and Kelsey aren't 1 and 2. Just the way they're so effective for their team.
If he can quit having touchdowns called back, that'd be great.
You cannot game script Kelsey and Kittle out of their respective teams' plans. I can see a world where every other tight end on every team can be basically invisible for their respective team, with the exception of those two. So good pickup with Kittle. I wanted him. Just not bad enough. I thought Vance McDonald was a value, so I really liked that.
All right, we got Ed versus Andrew up next.
I just wonder when Ed is going to change his name to Determined.
Just determined.
It's to be determined. We just don't know when.
Yeah, it will be determined. It's just we don't know when.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Andrew,
never going to let that go.
So Andrew was supposed to be the number one team coming.
Yeah,
into the
you
season.
all christened him your freaking prediction messiah. I beat his ass silly last week.
And
Take that for data.
And after it's data, by the way, he said data.
Whatever.
We'll look up at those projections here right after we get done with the matchups, and I just want to see how it's swung. But I think it's swung quite far ways the other way.
Ooh, it swung so hard.
All right. Well, anyways, I'm just gonna straight. Oh, he's starting Brissett too.
I thought that was weird. That's because he had Ben
'cause he's got
Roethlisberger.
Cam Newton and Ben Roethlisberger, and Newton is out now too. So,
God,
yeah, oof.
What a time to be alive. Look at that. Newton's out.
Antonio Brown. He's got Josh Gordon on his bench. You'd think he'd move him to his
That's the other thing. Like, now that Antonio Brown doesn't play for the Pats or anybody currently.
Man, but Sammy Watkins and Elliott.
Watkins is boomer bust. What did he do last week? Nothing. I'm telling you, everybody was high on Joby, but he's got Zeke and Saquon and a handful of shit that now looks like a mess.
You know what? Give him a couple of weeks. He'll probably be on the ropes. And I think that...
I guarantee one of those two running backs are gone, and he's picking up some value.
Yeah, I'll be able to, I just got to pick up a couple Steelers.
If he ends up on your team, I'm breaking one of your limbs.
Who's he? Brissett?
Saquon or Zeke.
I don't have any ammo to get either of them. I'd have to trade my whole team.
Oh,
and then I'd end up looking like his team.
Valid.
Sammy Watkins, though. Good start to the season.
Yeah. Well, one of the 2 weeks, right? The first week, it was fantastic. And then in week 2, he was basically irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
in place of Robinson and Hardman and all the random people Luke is starting. That's the problem with those guys is you have no idea who's going to be effective now that Hill's gone. Mahomes doesn't have a favorite. He's just throwing to whatever read is open. And, props to Mahomes for being such a smart fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
So, and you got Kelsey playing on the other side anyways. So,
yeah Ed has...
I'll take Ed in this one. And I don't think it's going to be close.
I'm going to take Ed, too.
Projections actually shows Andrew winning, which I think is absurd.
It's a 50% win probably.
Well, now that I'm looking at it, though, Ed's rolling out a questionable LaShawn McCoy and questionable Rashad Penny.
Like I said, Ed's got no running backs, but he's got depth. He's got Michael Thomas, Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks, and he's got Chris Godwin on his bench. Ooh. So he's got 4 quality wide receivers, but no running backs.
I feel like Ed and Andrew need to make a trade. They should be trading after their matchup.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Imagine what they could do here in a little flip-flop, flim-flam situation here.
Yeah, well, hey, by the way, why did he pick up Des Bryant?
Why isn't he starting Malcolm Brown instead of hold on. LaShawn McCoy?
Why did he pick up...
Because they're going to activate him.
Who's they?
The Saints? Question mark?
Try to return to football in mid-October.
Breaking news!
Signed to the Saints. Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Dez Bryant might be back 10 years removed from his last 1,000-yard
I forgot
season.
that he
Sorry,
tore
5 years.
I forgot that he tore his Achilles and has actually been on a team this whole time.
Yeah.
I thought he was just out of the league.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
It's crazy.
Dez could be back just in time for Drew Brees to not be throwing to him.
Well, hold on. It said he will try to return to football. It doesn't say he's on the Saints.
But I don't think they released him.
No, he's not on a team.
Neat.
Well, there you go. Remember when there was talk that the Packers could get Dez Bryant?
I don't want Dez Bryant.
Or was that No, it was that
I
Terrell
want
Owens.
Antonio Brown.
No, it was Randy Moss. It was always Randy
Oh,
Moss.
I would have took Randy Moss in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Of course, Patriots got him too.
Yeah.
Go Pats. Jesus Christ.
Favre wanted Moss in the worst way.
Yeah, he wanted it.
Yeah, he also wanted other things from women.
Whoa.
Well, All right, we got Ryan versus Steve here. Now, Steve's reeling off a
God,
loss.
for no reason whatsoever.
He might be going on tilt here. He's starting Carson Wentz.
Ooh, I like that. Look at that team, though. That looks nice.
The 2015 backfield of Le'Veon Bell and Devontae Freeman. Odell Beckham and Tyler Boyd. Delaney Walker, Terry McLaurin.
Nice.
Brett Maher.
I'm taking Steve, and I have to piss really bad. So you talk to them about this matchup,
right,
and I'm going to piss.
I'll tell them something they want to hear. Golden Tate suspended. That's what you wanted to hear. He's still got Ty Montgomery. Apparently he's taking Steve. I'm going to take Ryan because Steve is reeling. Steve's in my division. I want him to be 0-3. I'm going Ryan. Jesus, could you shut that door any harder? All right, well, let's talk about Robert while he's gone. Did you know that I have known Robert ever since I was a small child? We used to live next door. I shouldn't say we used to live next door to each other. Robert's grandparents used to live next door to my parents growing up. And there was a tree in the backyard. We would climb that tree all the time. We'd have a little playhouse in there and all this kind of shit. And we used to play a lot of Ninja Turtles. It was a good time. We went to swimming lessons together. That was a thing. Now, we started out as entrepreneurs pretty young in our lives. You see, they used to have this thing like, you wouldn't believe this nowadays because, people don't let their children do anything because if you let your children alone for any period of time in a populous area, every child's going to get kidnapped. But back in the day, there used to be this thing where when Krause's Shopping Center, yeah, you heard me, when Krause's used to be a store, it's now going to be a Dollar General, but Krause's used to be a store in Mishkat, and all of the village children during the summertime would all gather down at Krause's store, and we would have swimming lessons. We'd take a bus.
Talking about Krause's? Jesus Christ. I gave you way too much time.
You told me to vamp. So we started as entrepreneurs as young. By the way, we're going into the story of our lives here.
How did
right
that
now.
turn out from talking about this matchup?
Well, I mean,
I am
guess,
sorry.
I guess you're going to
podcast
have
listeners.
to listen. You're going to have to listen to that
I'm sorry for what happened. I had to piss really bad.
on the podcast. But our entrepreneurial career—that's a hard word to say.
Entrepreneurial?
Yes. Career started at a young age. You see, now we would take this bus from the YMCA or from Krause's to the YMCA and back. And it was kind of like a thing that all the parents gave the kids, $1 or whatever to get snacks. And Robert and I, being smart young kids, would go, wait. All the parents gave these kids money for snacks.
And they're fucking idiots.
And they're idiots because if you go to the YMCA and use the vending machine, for $1, you're going to get one candy bar. But if Robert and I pooled some money together, would go into Krause's, buy a bunch of bags of different candies, the snack size or whatever, or the single peanut butter cups and that stuff, we would give them 3 peanut butter cups for $1 instead of 2, or, a Snickers and a Kit Kat and a peanut butter cup or whatever. and we would actually make money off of it, and the kids would get more candy because we'd buy it in bulk, and we'd save all that money up, and then we just eventually after
We'd spend it on pizza and renting horror movies at Pictorium.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And that's what we did with our summer times. So you got to learn how to stiff people when you can.
Absolutely.
All right, back to this matchup. I picked Ryan. You picked Steve.
I mean, Steve's got karma on his side. He literally deserves a win at this
See,
point.
I think Steve's on tilt. Steve's reeling. So I don't think he's going to win this week. He's going to go down 0-3, and I'm going to love every minute of it.
That's not fair.
All right. And our sixth and final matchup, Dream of Fournetication versus a geriatric quarterback. We got Justin versus Zach. Justin's down to one geriatric quarterback because Drew Brees is out, and it looks like he's going to be out for a long time. Damian Williams is out, Njoku's on the IR. Devin Singletary's out. Justin is hurting.
It's looking rough. I mean, Justin grabbed,
Yeah, he's starting one of the two San Francisco running backs, Breida. He's got Delvin Cook, who's been fantastic this year. DeAndre Hopkins is Hopkins. Miles Sanders, he's starting.
Yeah. Los actually caught a huge break with Fournette, by the way, who's got the 9.2 going. Fournette was about to finish the week with probably like 3. And then late in the fourth quarter, he broke out for what was like a 70-yard sprint that fell just short of a touchdown, which basically salvaged his score.
He had negative yards for half of the game.
He was really bad. So that 9.2, Lowe should be thanking his stars that Fournette had that one huge run that really saved him. So,
and I'm happy because I was planning on spending money on Fournette, because I figured he'd be a top flight running back that you could get cheap or cheaper than you should because of what happened last year.
right.
And now I'm happy I just don't have him. But Austin Eckler, by the way, I want to bet. Oh, even better news. We actually have someone taking care of our board bets for us.
Yes.
This year.
All right.
Aaron Danielson is in charge. So that means every board bet that pays off. Now, if I bet Robert a pizza and I win that bet and Robert buys me a pizza, Aaron gets one slice.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, so every bet that Aaron keeps track of for us, he gets part of whatever that bet is.
Nice. As long as you won it, because I didn't agree to that.
What?
I'm kidding. It's fine.
I mean, if he's going to do the work for us.
No, yeah, that was great. I was calling out to anyone who would help. And this is the perfect example. I could see a world where I said Austin Eckler was probably not going to do great, and he's probably like a top 3 running back right now. One.
He is number 1.
See what I mean?
Wow. He's got 50 points for the season. He has 12 receptions for 163 and 2 touchdowns. He has 29 carries for 124 and 2 touchdowns.
What was our bet on that?
You said that Austin Eckler wouldn't be something. I don't know.
Whatever it is, I'll go double or nothing that he's not a top 10 running back this week.
This week?
Yeah.
Playing Houston.
I don't even know who he's playing. I was just shooting from the hip, buddy.
All right, deal.
God, I hope I didn't.
Wait,
bet
double or
something
nothing?
expensive. Yeah.
I just thought it was another bet. Fine, if I got to go double or nothing, I'll do it.
I mean, you have nothing to lose. See what I did there?
Yeah, I mean, I could lose what I already won. You have nothing to lose.
But if you lose, you get nothing.
Yeah, I understand that, but if you don't win, you get
I know.
nothing.
Right.
Okay, got it. All right. Moving. Oh, yeah, we got to pick this one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is actually tough.
Um.
God, I don't love any of this.
I don't like Lowe's' team.
I do like the Dalvin
I don't
Cook,
like
DeAndre
Lowe's' team.
Hopkins.
I'm taking Justin. I don't want Justin to go 3-0, but I'm taking Justin.
Well, given my bet against Austin Eckler, I'm also going to take Justin. And Tom Brady's just, he's doing things. Matt Ryan, we all thought was a huge value when Los got him dirt cheap, and it turns out he was just actually worth being
Yeah,
dirt
he
cheap.
sucks.
So
Sucked for... Actually, no. He was good last year. He was really good last year.
he's good every other year.
He was like the top... I think he was the third overall quarterback last year.
Have you heard that thing about Matt Ryan though? Like every year he finishes like it's crazy. So he has like an every other year thing where he's like second and then 12th and then third and then 20th and then he's
are you
all over the
serious?
place. Yes.
All right, so I'll draft him next
That's
year.
a real thing. Yeah, pick him up next year. He'll be fantastic.
Excellent.
That'll be a historical data thing. I promise you I will look that up and I will give you facts about Matt Ryan. This is his off year. Last year was his good year. This is his bad year.
All right, let's look at the final standings projections right now. It says Crawl. It says Crawl will be the number one team.
It would.
And Travis number 2, Robert number 3.
Hey, I'm moving up.
Um,
Where did it have me before? Right dead center, didn't it?
Steve 4.
Wow, at 0-2, it still puts him at 4. There you go, Steve.
Right.
I had faith, for the record.
Yeah. 5, Andrew. 6, me. 7, Ed. I wonder why Ed's so low on there. 8 is Jason, and he's been stuck at 8 like the whole time. 9.
I think the Dak thing literally swung my entire projection.
Well, I'm sure it did. Interesting. Well, biggest gainer is Crawl. Biggest loser is Justin.
Interesting.
And that was brought to you by TD Ameritrade,
Boom.
where you can trade your TDs.
I actually use TD Ameritrade.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Who do you use?
That's a good question. American Funds? American Funds.
Cool. What do you got stock in? This is fun.
I don't fucking know.
Nice.
All I know is I make money on it. I got a guy for that, you know.
You hear about the back 40 thing? On the Menominee
Is this
River?
a butt sex thing?
No, it's a mining project from a Canadian Aquila Resources. I bought stock in them. It's a big thing. I'll show you later.
Hold on. This isn't a pornography thing, is it?
No, it's a mining thing.
That's not code for...
Yes, it is. It's
Okay,
actually a
got
important
it.
thing.
Yeah, say-
Anybody who knows what I'm talking about is like, no, it's a fucking mine. But no, I'm gonna let Pope think that. It'll be good. Can we talk about Gardner Minshew? I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's not talking
I'm
about
really into
Gardner
him. We
Minshew.
keep looking at his
All right,
picture. I can't get him
let's
out of
get
my
rid
head.
of that right now. All right. So let's move on here. And it is time. My favorite part of every podcast. It is Family Circle.
Shit.
You got nothing for this?
I can come up with something. Fill for time.
Oh, man. I can go on for days.
Now, keep in mind, this house is a little more echoey. So,
Well, I mean, we just need to put our fantasy
wait a
draft
minute.
things
You
on
sleep.
the walls.
Hold on. You sleep right there, right?
Yeah.
Is that why all the lights were off downstairs?
Why, did you turn them on?
Yeah. It just dawned on me that I
Just
probably just turned your lights on Nicole.
Oh, maybe. Was she wearing clothes?
I didn't even look. I just turned on the lights and I walked towards the bathroom.
Sure, yeah, okay.
I feel bad now.
You feel bad now?
I probably
Why
won't-
don't you turn the lights on and tell her you're sorry?
You're such a douche. I'm serious. I actually feel bad if she was sleeping. I feel
I
bad
don't
that
know.
we're
I think
still
she was
talking if
upstairs.
she's
no,
sleeping.
she's not sleeping. She was upstairs.
Okay. It's fucking 11:30. She might be.
Well, who knows?
I didn't remember all those lights being off before.
I don't remember if they were on or off.
Me either. Fuck it.
All right.
Anyways, family circle. Go ahead.
Family Circle. Oh, you don't have anything?
I'll come up with something. Let me think. I have a lot. I just need
I mean, I have a lot too.
I need to
gotta-
open that
You know, I have to
suitcase.
think about these things ahead of time. Anyway, well,
maybe we should start calling guests for family circle. Like randomly call Travis and be like, "What's fucked up about your family, Travis?" Be like, me?
He's the fuck up in his family.
That's not fair.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Travis.
All right. Well, it's been we took a week off, and the week off was because we were in the process of moving. We moved into a fabulous. By the way, I'm using fabulous because I just listened to a Donald Sterling 30 for 30 podcast thing, and Donald and his wife used to use the term fabulous all the time.
Fabulous.
Yeah. In the same time when he was being a racist
Ooh, yeah.
person.
Great time to be
But
alive.
it was fabulous. It was really fabulous.
Yeah, as long as you were white.
Yes. But anyway, we moved into this wonderful new house, and we'll just say that, it's a beautiful house. We love it a lot. A few things were a little less than to be desired.
Transition was less than perfect.
Yeah, it was not a fun transition. The carpets all smell like long, shaggy-haired dog,
Same with my house.
which we had shampooed, and it still didn't fix the problem, and we just spent $1,000 on new carpeting.
Oof.
We tried to do laundry for the first time, and it turns out they sold us a non-operational washer, which they clearly knew about,
Yeah.
because of some things that I found.
Yeah, long story short, they fucked him on the washer.
It fucked me on the washer, so I ended up
There's
having
evidence.
to buy a new washer. That's cool. We're sleeping in the basement right now because we can't sleep in our bedroom because we're removing the carpet. Ooh, this is a fun one. They didn't cut the lawn before they sold the house because their claim was it was raining quite a bit and they didn't have time. He sold me a lawnmower with it, a riding lawnmower with the property, and he ran the lawnmower completely dry out of gas, and then left it for me. So I'd like to thank him for.
And it doesn't even cut even.
completely- It does not cut even. It's a rough lawnmower.
Rough stuff.
Thank God it was basically free. Yeah, all in all, it's it's been a wonderful week, and
Well, let me say, this new podcast studio that we're sitting in, albeit maybe a little echoey, we'll see when we listen to this later
it's
on.
echoey because we have nothing to dampen the walls. By the way, now we moved from one house to another, and the only remark that Nicole had about any of the stuff that I kept during the move was I was moving our 12 years worth of fantasy football draft boards.
Oh, this is a fun topic. This is good.
And she goes, "What the hell are those?" I said, "Yeah, they're fantasy football draft boards." From this year? I said, "No, the last 12 years." She goes, "Why the hell do you have that?" I said, "Well, it's just in case we want to look at them." She goes, "Why the hell would anybody care what your draft board was in a previous year?" I said, "Well, it's just fun to look at, and I keep them all." So I have them in the garage.
I did volunteer to keep them and store them in case it came down to an ultimatum where Kyle actually had to get rid of them. So they're safe. Don't worry, League of Ordinary Gentlemen.
I
That
don't see that
history
being
will
happening,
be preserved.
But, I brought that up when Robert walked in the door. And the first thing he said was, "Oh, really? You have them all? We should go look at them." And Nicole just rolled her eyes, and she's like, "You fucking would do that."
That's really fun. Like, how many people on that first one would still be in the league? I said maybe Adam Vinatieri would be like the only guy.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be.
Yeah. So, it's history. It needs to be preserved. This is a museum. This is a house of learned doctors. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Robert is on the diet kick again. He's drinking spiked seltzer, the lemon lime variety.
hell yeah, Bon and Viv, baby.
Yes, there's only 90 calories. Which,
Listen, I'm in good shape.
Which ironically is only it's Or is it? It's not any more calories in this freaking Bud Light.
The calories doesn't matter. It's the carbs and the sugar.
Oh,
so
yes.
for my diet, and say what you want, but until you have to go to some of these schools that I have to go to, it's important. I'm in good shape. You are not in good shape. You're drinking Bud Light.
Shape
I'm
is
drinking
relative.
fucking gay ass hard seltzer, and it's
It's
working
pretty fucking
for me.
gay ass.
Alcohol content is just about the same. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but alcohol's not good for you either. So.
No, but it also doesn't affect my diet.
Oh yeah.
So keto works regardless of the other dumb shit I put in my body, as long as it's not carbs and sugar. And I know it works because I can see my abs. That's kind of fun.
Whoa.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about that.
All right. Enough about
I'm on a diet. Get over it,
on a
people.
diet.
I'm going to go to Ranger School next summer. Look it up. Anyways.
I'm going to go to Ranger School.
I'm going to come back so gay. Anyways.
Yeah, you were going to be the gayest. Fuck. You know, I think I'm just going to take a moment to say, I think it is so ironic that in your military career at different stages, everything that you have done recently and plan to do in the future with your military stuff is all things
would have been way more
that
useful when I deployed fucking over and over
No.
again.
It's all things that 5-10 years ago, when you were first getting into the military or, beginning the military stuff, you used to make fun of those people and you used to make fun of recruiters, said they never did anything and they were worthless pieces of shit.
They are.
You used to make
We
fun
are.
of the Ranger School people
Yes.
because they're all gay, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you want to do that too.
I have the same stance.
I just think it's hilarious that you're doing all these things that you used to shit on.
So, one, I'm a recruiter because it's the easiest job in the full-time military. I am going to these schools because if you want your evaluation, we do like a yearly evaluation report.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If you don't go to a school every year, the block for continuing education or whatever is blank, and it's not. You get these like less than satisfactory, or exceeds expectations, right?
Sure.
So I go to these fucking hardcore schools that not a lot of other recruiters can go to because that gets me like an exceeds expectation block. So instead of just going to advanced leader course, this year I went to advanced leader course and air assault school. Google that shit. It's not easy. Yeah, the more you know. So, and it sounds stupid, like who cares about your evaluation report, but that's me getting promoted ahead of all of my peers, which is more money, and I really like money, like everybody else. That's
We have a technical
it's at
difficulties.
123. Remember?
We have technical
If you had a
difficulties with
Surface
this.
Pro, it would be better.
Yeah, I bet
All
it
right.
would.
So I'm going to cruise through my family circle jerk thing quick because we've had you on this podcast for a 1 minute, way too long. Sleepovers are starting to be a
All
thing.
right.
So like my oldest wants to do a sleepover birthday party thing, and
Oh, shit. Keep the shaving cream away.
by proxy, my middle son was invited to it also because, like on the block, everybody's all friends with each other and stuff. So I know my kids are terrorists. So I tried to I tried to do a dad trick. My oldest son has very big problems with behaving at school. So he gets a point sheet. Right. Mm-hmm. And he gets like a percentage of how well he behaved every day. And that gets emailed to us. And I threw out like a completely unrealistic expectation. I said, sure, if you get 100% on Friday, I will let you go to this sleepover. And wouldn't you believe it? The first time in his entire life, he got 100%. I don't know if he bribed the teachers
but you need to use that to your advantage because that proves that he doesn't have to be a shithead all the
That's
time.
what I said. I said, so you're showing me that it's you. It's not like them. It's not these excuses you're making. You can be good. And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, I can't always throw a birthday party incentive out there, but you're killing me here with this. And so it's frustrating, right? Your kids will do whatever it takes to get the big prize, and then they'll turn that right back off. It just drove me nuts. So I gotta let Rob, who will probably ruin this kid's birthday party, at this sleepover because I said he could go if he got the score on his point sheet, and now Ryan's upset because I'm not letting him do the sleepover. I'm letting him go to the party, but he's fucking 8. I said, you can stay and then come home when it's bedtime. Plus, Rob and Ryan, they feed off each other, right? Like they force each other into this kinetic, like freaking fireball of energy, and they just destroy people's lives together. So I thought at the least I could bring one of them back before the actual part where people are actually supposed to sleep, because that's not happening with those two. They never sleep. They live to drive me insane. Just when I fall asleep, one of them would kick my door open and be like, I pissed the bed. You know, like, I don't want that happening at somebody else's house.
Yeah.
I don't want him pissing on their floors.
No, and you don't want him kicking, mom and dad's room open either.
Yeah, who knows what they do.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyways, that's my family thing. I'm sure all of you relate in some weird way.
Wasn't that the same night you and Nicole were going to go to that key party?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right, well, it's been a week, and it'll be another
2
week.
weeks.
And it's been 2 weeks, and next week we might be more prepared. I feel like we were way more serious about this last year. We'll eventually get back into the flow.
2 weeks ago, I felt like we had a really good pod. I genuinely apologize for this hour and a half of us just fucking ranting. We didn't prepare anything. Kyle moved. He wasn't passionate about the pod. We almost didn't even do the pod. But then I bitched because I was like, well, people like the pod. You probably hated this one. We'll probably have like 3 less subscribers at the end of this. Hey, my bad. If nothing else, you get to hear the hamburgers at the beginning and at the end. They're pretty cool. So, whatever.
All right, till next time, I'm Kyle. Here's Robert. We're signing off.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Gentleman Fantasy Football Podcast. All Gentleman Fantasy Football podcasts can be found at our YouTube channel at youtube.com.
We suck at this.
Yeah, terrible.
Good thing we don't get paid.